Do you have a dating deal breaker, disaster, or dilemma? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Dating Diaries.
All right. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to you, Scorpio Moe.
Happy hump day to you as well. Hey, y'all. Thank you for all the Father's Day. Happy Father's Day wishes. I appreciate that. I didn't want you to think I forgot. I did not.
Okay. Did you enjoy your Father's Day? Did you have a good Father's Day weekend?
I did. Had an interesting experience at the massage place. I'll get into that.
Well, you might as well why don't we just start off there since you
First of all, I need to know how you doing first. How are you?
I am well. It was, this was a time to celebrate. This past weekend we celebrated gentlemen, fathers, mentors, godfathers, uncles, all those things.
During Men's Mental Health Month. During
Let's
be clear, we're still in that.
Absolutely. We are. And I think we need to stay in it. This mental health month.
Yeah.
What are you drinking there? What you got?
Kahlua and coffee.
Kahlua and coffee usually looks a little darker than that.
Listen, I don't know what's wrong with your screen, but trust me,
I
got cream in it.
Okay.
I got a little cream in it.
Okay. All right. Just having just an after dinner drink, with a cigar. Okay.
Yeah, I needed to be smoothed out.
Oh.
Plus, I like Kahlua, by the way.
I like
anyway,
so I like a mudslide. So that is I do.
Likewise.
I do a mudslide.
Likewise.
Yeah. So you tell us a little bit. Bedrock is in the building. What's up, Harvey Kent? Hello for you all that are joining on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for joining. Of course, is Dating Diaries with myself, Christal XO, and Scorpio Moe, and we talk about dating, disasters, deal breakers, and dilemmas. That is what we talk about on this show. And before we get into that, though, Moe was telling us about his interesting Father's Day weekend. I believe there might have been.
Well, I'm just going to explain I had a massage.
Okay.
I had a massage this weekend. Shout out to Adriana for that. But so I go to the massage place, right?
All right.
Send me in the room. You get undressed. And she comes in, makes sure I'm on. You gotta keep your drawers on. It's a big sign to say that too. It said keep your drawers on. No, don't say that.
It didn't say that.
It says do not remove your undergarments, right?
Oh, okay. Cool.
So then she comes in, and they do it through a sheet, right? They don't want to touch your naked self. They do it through a sheet.
I've never been to a massage place where they massage you through a sheet. I've never experienced that. Usually they do the actual skin on skin.
No, they do. I've seen both. I've seen it through a sheet before. It's not all the way through a sheet the whole time, but parts of your body is through a sheet. So it does this thin sheet over you, and they tenderize you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, the chops. Yeah.
Yeah, and they doing all that. So she gets down, she turns around, she brings the sheet down, probably about the back of my thigh, right? Then she takes the underwear, just the back part, and pull them down to under my butt. I'm like, what the?
So she said, they said don't take your undergarments off, but she pulled them down.
But she didn't take them off. She just pulled them down on the backside.
Okay.
Just right under the butt. Not all the way down.
Okay.
But I am exposed for the most part.
Okay.
And then she goes back up to the top and start doing this at the neck. While my ass is out. Which I'm confused at this point.
Is it it's out? Is it a breeze? Is it
It's not a breeze, even though it's a nice temperature in the room. But I'm just like, why would you expose it and just walk away and do something else? That threw me off.
Okay.
I was like, well, maybe we should get back to it, right? or whatever. But why is it out? Maybe it needed to break. I don't know. So she goes back. Then she comes back around and she straddles over me from the back. She's a little Asian woman.
When you say straddles,
her legs are, my body is in between her legs. She's straddling like a horse.
Wow. Okay. All right.
While my buttocks is exposed. Then she sees over and she goes on the side and starts circulating. Then she taps me on the right side and says, loosen up. I'm like, and I'm like, first of all, why would I want to be loosened up in this position?
You're just laying there, right?
Yes, my arms are like this, and I'm just sitting up there, and she feels
you're supposed to be loose. You are supposed to be loose, not tense.
For what? For what?
For the benefit of a massage is for you to be loose, not tight. Why would you be there tight and tense?
In the buttocks, why would I be tight? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Why wouldn't I be tight?
I don't understand why you would be tight.
So she taps me, and I'm trying to relax.
So what you saying that she slapped you on your butt?
Tight on the right side, maybe because I'm right-handed. I don't know.
Does she slap you on the butt and say loosen up?
She on the side, not on the just like on
the side of the butt.
Just right here, like on the hip area, say loosen up. So feisty old lady. So then she takes both hands after a while and do like this.
On the butt?
Both hands. She does, and she don't tell me to tighten up. She just shakes it.
Now, I would like to mention, just because I feel like, just for the sake of the story, you don't have a lot of.
I know. I don't have much back there, but whatever was back there was too tight for her.
Whatever was back there, she put it in motion.
Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't even know. You know, I didn't even know I could do that.
That was every time Mo gets out of hand, we should put that, loosen up. Take you right back there with that lady. The lady put you in check. Loosen up.
She was trying to throw my wham in a circle. It's like, what? So after she did that, she asked me to loosen up one more time, and I tried.
How tense were you?
What? I'm in a vulnerable position. You gotta understand. I'm in a vulnerable position, but then it gets worse. She cuffs under the underwear and cuffs them into my thighs, like tucks them in.
Mm-hmm.
She tucks them in, but she kind of yanks. Huh?
Tucks the thighs in
of the drawers. She kind of like instead of cuffing them out, she cuffed them in. I'm not sure why she did that, but she did go a little in the thigh. Maybe that's the reason why. I'm pretty sure she could have cuffed it up. But when she did that on the right side, I think one of the boys might have almost came out. I'm not sure. Just on this side. Just one. And I did not feel comfortable. So I like the spot. I think I'm gonna go once a month, but I need to ask for a different lady.
Okay. You may need to go to a different spot.
She was a little heavy-handed, which is good for the massage, but not for the tugging on my drawers. I don't like that.
Did you feel?
I felt something plop out. I could halfway out, not all.
Not
the way.
what I asked.
Oh my bad.
That's not what I asked. I asked, did you feel violated? Did you feel uncomfortable?
I felt uncomfortable when she was. The most uncomfortable thing was it wasn't so much of the tap. It was She left it open, then walked away and did something else. Why would you just leave it
open?
That confused me.
I really wish you would not go back to that particular place. Was this a chain, a big massage? Was this a big massage?
No.
Spa? Okay.
This was, it was in between like that and a hole in the wall. It wasn't a big spot, but it was
like we might need to be at a different one. Maybe I'm just, jumping to.
No, I got you changed. I don't want to say no names, but I know. But I just was like, I didn't mind it, but she was, when she got on the back of me and loosened up.
Well, she was, it sounded like she felt like you were tense. And it felt like she, I don't think she meant any harm. But
I did feel good though. Like I felt lighter walking out. I hadn't had one in a few years.
Okay.
I felt right. I was like, okay, I probably need to do this once a month, no less than twice. Okay. But but shout out to those people. But I definitely want another lady.
Yeah, I think you should go to a different location. Lakeisha says Massage Envy had a class action lawsuit about 10 years ago for violating their customers.
No, I know someone. I don't know if it was that particular lawsuit. I know someone. Yeah, and it was the one near me.
Yeah,
and it might have been over 10 years ago, but I know for sure it was a guy who. The woman was telling me, she was like, yo, I got a lawsuit going on right now. That's a fact.
Wow. But I agree with her, though. I've never had a massage where anyone straddled me. I'm a little concerned about her straddling you like a horse. I've never
got on me like a little monkey on my back. And anyway.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, the straddling is what's thrown me off because I'd never seen. Now, and
I think
a
because
sensual
she's so short,
massage.
she couldn't reach over, so she had to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as long as you felt looser in the upper body and you were not.
My whole body, I felt lighter. I felt more energetic. I didn't feel as stiff. I was good.
Hey, Darlinda, welcome. Hey, lady, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Hello, TM SO 6RO. Welcome, new member. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate that. We're just talking. This is Dating Diaries, and of course, we're going to get into the dating disasters, deal breakers, and dilemmas. But Mo is sharing with us. One of his Father's Day gifts this weekend was to go to a massage parlor, and it sounded like it was a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I think what I'm gonna do is flip flop. I'm gonna do the chiropractor next. You know how to crack your whole body.
Yeah. I just think you should. I agree with Tammy. She says go somewhere that is more clinical based, like one that also does chiropractic services. Hey, Joe.
Oh, and she did do the hot stones too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
She did the 2 hot stones in the oil. That was because before I had him like sitting on my back with all the stones.
Yeah.
Let it soak in there. But she had the 2 stones and she was rubbing them like just had them on her hands, like doing like that.
Okay. And you like that?
No, I always like that. That
okay.
I do like. That was the first time I had it done that way though. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I'm not really a massage person. I do like a body scrub or a body wrap. So I know there's a very infamous spa here, and I have not been in a long time. The spa here that most people in Atlanta know, Jeju, they do the body scrubs, and the thing is, I'm for anything that makes your skin feel soft. I'm all for it. So I would get the body scrub, and it's very intense, but a woman of an Asian descent will have a scrub, like a actual, scrub, and they will like scrub you like you are not like they scrub you, they flip you over. I mean, I'm talking about the lady flipped me over, and she flipped me over just look like you just like it. They don't really. They flip you over like you are not a person, like you're
like
just
luggage.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lakeisha. They do flip. She flipped me over like luggage, and for this, you have to be nude.
I heard.
And so when you are just, your girl is just out there, your pocketbook is out there, and then just flip you over. I mean, she flipped me over, and I wanted to keep my legs to get, because it is out there. So yeah, but and I am talking about Jeju popcorn, and they scrub hard, but I like a hard scrub because I mean afterwards your skin feels like silk. I'm actually overdue. Maybe not. I'm just a little concerned about Jeju because I think there was some bad things that I overheard happen after COVID.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I have not been back since then. But I used to go there because
I heard they walk around like that too.
They do. Well, you. So this is my experience at Jeju since we're here. You go into the women's area. So the women's area and the men's area is separate. But when you get in there, you have first of all, they give you like a prison outfit. It's a matching coordinates, the top and the bottom. And it does look like a prison outfit, but you get in there and then whenever you want to go into like the bathing and the area for massages and the steam sauna and the body scrub, you have to be naked. Everybody is naked. So it is a little shocking the first time you go because everybody's just naked. I mean, they're just from 8 to 80 done crippling crazy. We're just all in there, different sizes, different nationalities, different ages, different everything is just in there. And also they do vaginal steams as well. But that is a good thing. I think a lot more women need to be doing that. I never heard of that.
I can only imagine.
No, well, let me tell you about it. So you go in there, then you take a shower. The showers are open. Everybody is naked. And then you just naked in the whirlpool, or you go over you get a little.
Other people?
Yes, everybody in there is naked. Everybody.
No, in the whirlpool. Y'all in there together?
Yes.
That's not good.
Everybody's pocketbooks are just in there. I mean, you can't get in there with clothes on. I mean.
Nah, but I didn't know they were. I thought they were individual.
No, it's a whirlpool where everybody just kind of sits down, and then everybody's just kind of looking at each other, or looking away from each other. But when I went there the first time, one of the things that I thought about, and I welcome the chat both on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube to share if you guys have been there before. One of the things that I appreciated about it is there was there were a lot of Caucasian women in there, some other nationalities, and then there were some Black women in there. But a lot of I saw just Caucasian women in there with their children, like 4 or 5-year-old girls, 7-year-old girls, and they were very comfortable with their body. They didn't seem, ashamed or insecure. And I remember thinking, man, I wish I had taken my daughter to something like that when she was little, so that she would feel more confident with her body, because a lot of women are just really not confident with their body, even though a lot of them do share their bodies with men. A lot of times women are not comfortable in their own skin and are very insecure. And I saw that more with African Americans than any other race. Everybody else was just kind of out there and walking around like it was normal. A lot of us were like, kind of hunched over and trying to cover things up. And I do know when you go out of the country, people are very, very comfortable as well. And I think that if more little Black girls were comfortable in their skin, I found it liberating as well. And I feel like they would make better choices. I feel like when you are insecure, you hide, but you also do stupid stuff. I'm not saying that, that may make them make better choices, but I just think that you have to be comfortable with you, and I know I've heard some Black women say they don't even like looking in a mirror when they're naked or looking at their bodies. that's not a good place to be. Especially when you want to share that with someone else. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to be, if you got to be comfortable with you before you can share you with anybody else. So I appreciated the experience at Jeju, and I did. I know my daughter went later. We didn't, I think, did we go together? Maybe once, but she was an adult at that point. But I wish I had taken her to that type of experience before. Because I wish that she had that. Now, I don't know if I would go there with people I work with, because it is, I mean, everybody's just naked. You know, everybody is naked. I mean, from the root, you are naked. Now, for the vaginal steams, I'm sure the women all know, but I'll share with Mo since he doesn't. You know, this is a Asian, you know, practice, and you're naked, you go and you sit on this thing that's like a toilet, and then steam comes up and cleans the pocket. And it is said to help with like uterine health, and you know, it's supposed to clean you out and be very healthy.
They got gift cards to that place.
They do. They do. They do. Yeah. Okay. It just cleans. It's a cleaning. Now, what they say, and I don't know if this is true, but what they say is if there's something that you need to do to maybe reclaim your girl, making sure that she snaps back to where she needs to be, if she's a little out of shape maybe, and she needs to snap back and be rejuvenated. I do hear that helps with tightening her up, getting her back in shape.
So what Christal's saying is, for all the guys that don't know, if the lady has been ran through, this would probably be a good idea. So send her on down. Okay.
What I said is that if she needs a rejuvenation, if she needs a rejuvenation that is supposed to help with rejuvenating your girl. Hey, Edna, welcome, Edna. And I do think that, oh wow, popcorn. So I did the vaginal steam and I had fibroids. It made mine worse. Wow.
Oh,
that's scary. But you know what? I do think that before you do anything like that, you should definitely consult with a doctor, because I don't know that these places are, I don't know that the Dr. Jackie or any of the OBGYNs would suggest going to that. But I do think, I love the scrub. I love a body scrub. In fact, when Chanel gets here, we may need to go get a body scrub. There's nothing better than feeling soft and supple as a woman. Edna says, squeeze exercise. And later, Lakeisha brought it on home with the actual dictionary term, which is Kegels. Thank you, both of you ladies. Thank you so much. Yes, that is what it's supposed to do is assist with that. Back in the old days, I believe people would use vinegar. And
so what is the thing the older ladies used to have hanging on the back door? What is that? That's the same thing, right?
No, are you talking about a douche?
The water bag thing?
That's a douche.
Yeah, the red thing?
That Edna?
Edna, we didn't need to know. We believe you, though. We believe you. Oh, Lord. It ain't even 9 o'clock yet.
That is not 9 o'clock. A douche, and that was to clean out, but this is not necessarily what a douche would do. This is more of like a healing, almost like if you were to have tea. It's a steam. It's steaming the girl. Okay, well, we need to stop that right now. Tammy says her OBGYN told her a long time ago to stay away from the steam pots. Well, moving on. We don't want anyone to be getting in trouble or getting their
yeah, we're not advising any of this.
We're not advising anyone to take their kitty cat down to the
We're just saying what they do. We're not saying y'all do it.
Yeah, I did it once. I haven't done it again, and I won't be doing it again. And you're right, Darlinda. Now people know that douching can be harmful, but back in the old days, like when Mo was
a lot better though.
Yeah. Moving on to one of tonight's topics. Tonight we're going to be recapping our conversation that we had. If you guys watched on Monday, we did not very many of them. Some of them watched, some of them didn't. But we did a live. Well, we did a recorded session with friends of ours, Portia and DJ Hershey, and we had a conversation about dating in the next chapter, which most of us are in. Dating after divorce or after, breakups, after having children, after, just in the second part of your life. So we're going to recap that conversation in a minute. But before we get into that, Bo, do you have any, let's go back and do because we asked them for dating disasters, deal breakers, or dilemmas. In tonight's story, it is potentially about a dilemma. Thank you. PTWYT says, I watched it today. You guys did a great job. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Those of you that watched, we appreciate it. Blondie, we definitely appreciate everybody that watched and commented. But yeah, let's do our dating disasters, dilemmas, and deal breakers before we move into our first question of today.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times a dating dilemma to me can be, I watched it, not quite finished it. Okay, thank you. Lakeisha says she is dating in the next chapter. I think most of our audience is dating in, the next chapter. This is a question that I have. This could be a dilemma. Because I was, I did a special on The Polygamist, right? I did a special on The Polygamist, which was the series that aired on Netflix. If you haven't watched that and you've watched the series, definitely check it out. I did it yesterday with a friend of mine, Rocky Harris. Shouts out to her. Thank you so much for joining me for that. It was a good discussion. But in that Netflix, in the series, if you notice in the beginning, there is a fish and a bird, and that's the symbol for the polygamist for the series, right?
Did not know that. That's
yeah.
in general or just for the series?
For the series. The series. So I looked it up because I was like, why is this? I felt like it had to be very symbolic because every time the show came on, you would see the fish swimming and then the bird, and it would kind of just, disseminate. So what that suggests is that people that are not, the fish is in the water, bird is in the air, right? So although those two may love each other, they don't live and thrive in the same environment. So they're just too different to be together. And so in that, I'm assuming that they were speaking of Jonasai, the husband, the man, the husband, and then also Joyce, who was the wife. So they were very different. She was from a very upscale, privileged background, and he was from the hood. So my question today is my dilemma, the dating dilemma I have is it possible to date someone that was raised in a entirely different background or upbringing than you? So when people, if you look at it, like if you meet somebody that was raised, I was kind of raised in the middle. I wasn't raised in what people used to refer to as the projects, but I also wasn't raised privileged. I was kind of like, in the middle. And I did meet people on both sides. I met people that were raised with very, very little. And then, definitely in the hood. And then I met people that were raised very upper middle class or even upper class. And a lot of times, I will be honest, I'll just start out by being honest. You guys can let me know in the chat. I felt most uncomfortable with people that were raised upper class, upper middle class and upper class, because they had so many different experiences that I had not had, even though I made, even though I went to college and really got, straight A's in school and did that. I still I was not privileged to some of the things as far as like just families that vacation abroad every year. And, I was thankful to be able to do like cotillion and things like that because of the school I was in. And then my uncle would do different things to help me. So I had a very, affluent family member that didn't have any kids at the time. And so he would do a lot of things for me. But I really didn't feel comfortable and I felt out of place and almost insecure when I would talk to guys that had been raised in very, very privileged background. right? It just felt uncomfortable for me. In the same token, I did also feel uncomfortable sometimes when you're dating guys that, or I was around guys that were raised in a very different, very, very economically challenged upbringing where they didn't have things, and it felt like they were more survivors, like trying to hustle. I wasn't raised around that type of hustle. So for me, I feel most comfortable and probably relatable and compatible with people that didn't grow up under extreme struggle, but also that did not grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth either, because I feel like I would feel really uncomfortable around them, specifically when I was younger. Now I've had a lot of different experiences, but before that, it would have been difficult. So do you think that you could date someone? Could that be a dilemma for you if you were dating someone that had just a total different experience than you growing up?
You asking me or
I'm asking you because no. Okay, you would not feel uncomfortable.
I would not feel uncomfortable. And the reason being is because I grew up in a very, very diverse Black, Puerto Rican, Italian, Dominican, with everybody. And my fifth and sixth grade year, I finally rode the bus and went out to school near the beach. Their families owned businesses that the town knew of. Ice cream, had farms, dairies, ice cream parlors, garbage trucks, tow trucks. Their families owned all this. You know what I'm saying? Waterbed companies, and they never made me feel away. Never. So, and maybe if they would have took me home, I would have seen something, but it's all on how they made me feel like, and none of them ever made me feel that way. So I didn't feel, and I felt like I was supposed to be there. Even though, you take the bus back and you're smack dead in the hood, and, you feel like when New Edition tells the story, they go on tour and the bus drops them back off at the projects. That's what it was. But we still all played together. They never treated us any different. So for me, no. I'll tell you one thing. I don't want to go back to them broke niggas no more, though.
So would you date somebody that was from that environment now?
Yeah, as long as they were striving to do better. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think Darlinda says, nope and nope, not again. I married someone who was from the other side of the tracks and it didn't work. I think that, I definitely understand what she's saying. There's a huge disconnect sometimes. It doesn't have anything to do with the person. It's just you're used to different things. And one thing I have learned is, as an adult, the Bible has a scripture that says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. I think that people go back to what's comfortable for them, and that is where they feel, that's kind of where they level out. Like, you could be here, and it depends on if you want to get out. You find your own comfort level, but usually the way you were raised and the morals and the values and the things that were instilled in you really do become a part of your makeup, right? At least that's my perspective, because I feel like a lot of the things that I believe in now were things I was taught, and a lot of things that I see people that were taught very differently, they think very differently. You kind of go back to those things that you learned early on. What I've observed, and this is not a knock towards anybody, but a lot of people that were raised in survival never really get out of survival. And survival in the sense of taking advantage of other people or not really appreciating certain things. Like, you give a kid that comes from nothing something amazing, and some of them are not going to appreciate it. They're just going to take it, use it, and wonder what's next, right? As opposed to really appreciating it. I don't think that. I just think that a lot of it has to do with the person, but I think some of it is who they are, and a lot of that is built when you're young. There are people that, thankfully, you had situations where they didn't make you feel bad, but there have been other situations where people date somebody and they are made to feel bad by their family. by, you know, the people around them. It's clear that they don't belong. You know, I remember I was dating a guy whose family was very well off, and one of the family members said, "Oh, I would never date somebody from a single parent family." You know, and I felt really bad because there I was, you know, from not only from a single parent family, but I didn't even know where my dad was at that point, you know. And so these people were making a big deal because everybody in their circle were mom and dad, you know, it's Cosby Show type things.
I'm glad you said that, because even as I get older, and you know, when I go back to certain places, that's where not everybody, that's where a lot of people are. Some people, you know, some people, to move to the next town is getting away, right?
Yeah.
Move one state over, whatever the case. But when I sit back and look at it, or when I've come to visit, what I realize is that those people were some of the best people. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is their spirit. The fact that they stay in there, and these people don't have much but still share with you, right? Mm-hmm. That means something to me. Those people, even though they might even fight amongst each other, when there's a cause, especially involving children or the right to something, mm-hmm. and those people rally together, and when you feel that spirit, or when you go back and they ain't seen you and they give you a hug and they say they're so proud of you. Yeah. And you know, whatever you need, come by my house. They make you a plate. They wanted to share their last. Mm-hmm. And their character mm-hmm. is a lot better at times than those people worth millions.
I agree with that.
And that, to me, is where they're rich at. They mm-hmm. might not have the money. They might not, but when you see these people, especially during the holidays, mm-hmm. or when they scrape up and they put their kids in, you see it sometimes in videos to graduations, mm-hmm. and that might be the first person to ever graduate from high school, go to college. Mm-hmm. My only gripe is, in that environment, is that they're celebrated more coming out doing 5 years in jail than 4 years of college. That part bothers me still.
It's a few things. I agree that character is not indicative of where you come from. But I do think that, like, for example, if you're raising children, because I think who you date and who you choose to be with can be very different than who you like, or who you appreciate as a person. I can appreciate you as a person, but I may not want to raise children with you. I remember the one guy that I dated. For me, it was really important because of how I was raised, that my kids were involved in a sport and that they were on the honor roll. Like, I was not accepting any grades less than honor roll grades, and I was not accepting. You have to do something, right? You have to be involved in some type of art and some type of sport. That's just how I was raised. So I felt like that was really important for my children. And I think there were a lot of men that I could have dated that would not have shared that same. They would not have felt like that because that's not how they were raised. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you can have a lot of people that you connect with, but who you actually date and marry and choose to make a life with, you guys really have to have the same value system. And sometimes, depending on where you're raised, you may not have that same value system. You know, I remember my mom saying with her and my dad, she believed in, you have a house first, right? You have a nice house. And then, because the house is the most important thing. My dad was raised very different. So he believed in having a very nice car. So my dad had this, you know, tricked out, you know, brand new Cadillac. And my mom was like, you want to take that to this little shack of a house? I'm not doing that. They just had different values.
What if it was two people and you know the person, you know the people, raised in the same house?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I seen mm-hmm. one go off to college, doing great now mm-hmm. in the medical field. Mm-hmm. They're in the same project, same house, same mm-hmm. parents. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's about, you know, was all at the end of the day about choices, right? People mm-hmm. that are dreamers, and this person got straight A's. Other person wasn't that bad, but they were definitely involved in the streets. Michael Clark Dyson. Is that mm-hmm. is it Clark? I know it's Michael Dyson, but in any case,
yeah.
You know, you see where he's at, and his brother's in the penitentiary. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, like, it's a roll of the dice. You can present it to them. A lot of times, it doesn't mean that they're going to take it, and they grew up in the same exact high school. I'm a dreamer, so whatever was in my head, forget what was around me. I saw the stuff on TV and knew what was more than what I was seeing, and to go get it, go find it, discover it, and see where that leads me. You know,
but I guess I'm talking more about your attitude towards stuff. I'm not,
but that determines your attitude. Your attitude will determine
not about like
whether you want to go to academics or where you want to go in your life, and then you share those with half the NFL, NBA, marry these. Well, not all of them, but I don't know. I think it can go both ways, man. I don't know.
I get that's a good point. Like a guy that grew up in a very economically challenged environment. He gets a contract to the NFL. He has a lot of money, but because he was raised differently, it's not about the money. It's really about your value system. That's what I'm talking about. What you value. You could be a dreamer, but still, you may have a child. Say you're a dreamer, you get out of the hood, and then you have a kid with a woman, and the kid and the woman is from a very, very privileged background. And she's like, oh, our child has to go to Jack and Jill. They have to be in a private school. If you came from the hood, you're like, I don't care about no Jack and Jill.
That's not true.
Some people. Okay. I
don't believe that. I think they want different, and they want to expose themselves. I don't know. I don't necessarily. It could happen. I don't know if that's necessarily all the way true, though.
We're just talking about generals. I think I've experienced people that don't value it. They're just like, what am I doing this for? Like, why would I? That's not important to them because they come from a place where I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to get out. All this extra stuff you're talking about, I don't know nothing about that. That's not important to me. Now, there could be some people that grew up in the hood that saw that and they're like, man, I've been wanting to do Jack and Jill. I want to go play polo. I want to go play tennis. But for the most part, people that grew up in those environments, they haven't been exposed to it. And sometimes if you haven't been exposed to something that can embarrass you that you don't know, you know what I mean? Like it could be, it's just a slippery slope. I'm sure there are guys that grew up, you know, very, very poor, but want to go play golf and want to be around, you know, affluent people. But some of them may not.
Especially these young people now, they all in the stock market, and I give it to them, man. They you know, I think it's turning, man. They're being exposed. They're sharing information with each other. I think a lot of us were closed off. We didn't know.
Well, we'd have the internet. We didn't have the internet. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we couldn't see.
So I think it's turning around.
Yeah.
And then some of it's going back. You see these people from these other areas wanting to be in other spaces and wanting that. I don't know. It's crazy. But I get it though. I get it.
Yeah, I will. In the show. So on the show, the man was from the hood, but he went to college and he was a dreamer and he managed to get out, make money, but he was able to do that through using a lot of women. But when he did, he didn't have. That's his mentality was whatever it takes. And a lot of business people are like that. Not even just people out of the hood, just ruthless business people.
You want to be a billionaire? That's what it's going to take.
Let's go. Let's figure out whatever I got to do to get there. But in that, you don't have the class. Like they say, money can't buy class. So you really can't, you know, just because you got the money doesn't mean you automatically have the class. Maybe that was a better way to put the question is if does class count? You know, when you're dating someone, if you guys have a different idea of what's classy,
I think people can learn and be exposed. Some people mind are open; they think about those things and even wanna, you know, you could be in the hood and think you're above all. You'd be like, man, I want it, and people be laughing at them, and you want to do what? Hell, I remember people carrying home books, and people laugh at. Look at him, he got books. That type stuff. I've seen that.
He got books.
Yeah. Look at him. You go home to man. Hey man, it's sad. You see how ignorant and just, you know. But I don't think that's now. But this is 1980. I'm 10
I think it's
years old,
now,
11 years old.
I'm glad I did not grow up in that type of environment because I didn't have anybody because everybody around me was smart kids.
They never did that to the girls though.
But the boys, just because of our school, you had to have a certain GPA, so you would get laughed at if you didn't have that at the school I went to. But I do think, to your point, there was this thing where a smart girl would be attracted to. Somebody said in the chat earlier, the good girl would always be attracted to the boy from across the tracks, and that's just a dynamic that happens. I don't know if it happens the other way. Do smart guys go? I mean, do smart guys go out with hood girls?
Yes. Well, they attracted to. I don't know if they'd be able to get a date, but they like them.
Because I've heard some girls that are from the hood say they don't like hood dudes. They don't like hood dudes. They want a nerd. That's the word they used to say before. I prefer a nerd, because they had that. Everybody wants what they don't have.
I mean, I've seen people turn it around, and after they see the results of their choices, and be like, hey man, woof! The 80s was rough, boy. Yeah. That crack era, it spit out a lot of things, and a lot of people really regret that time and choices that they made. It's interesting, but yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I do want to talk about something else as we get ready to talk about this this recap for that show. I do want to say something. This is going to be a little bit heavy, but I think we can handle it. I think as a grown dating conversation platform, we can definitely handle this. I remember I was talking to a friend, and she shared with me an experience that she had dating on a dating site, because I was trying to tell her, you should keep dating. And she was like, no, I don't want to date. And for probably about 4 years, she decided not to date. And she was adamant about not wanting to date online. And I was telling her, hey, that's where everybody is dating. That's how people date nowadays. Everybody dates online. It's kind of difficult to think that you could run into somebody just at the store, or God forbid at the gas station. You guys know I have bad experiences with the gas station. And so I was just trying to encourage her to do that. And I was not being hard on her, but I was just like, you can't close yourself off, and you need to be open. Well, we had a conversation last week, and she told me why, after 4 years, why she did not want to date online. And she shared with me that while this date that she had went on 4 years ago, before she had shut everything down, she went out with this guy, and they went out 2 or 3 times. He was a lot of fun, big personality, and she really liked him a lot. Third date, he asked her to come by. He's going to cook. So she goes by his house. At the point that she goes by his house, his energy totally changes, and basically she barely got out. He basically tried to force himself on her. He sexually assaulted her. And I felt really bad because I had been encouraging her to date online. And it's not that she didn't want to date online. She'd had this terrifying experience of narrowly making it out and not telling anyone at all. I think she talked to a couple, maybe one other person, but she's telling me this almost 5 years later. And it broke my heart, because I was like, and then she said, she ran into the guy afterwards, and she did tell him that what he did was wrong, but she also was cordial to him, right? And I told her, I was like, Mo and I talked about this before, and I've had a situation like that, and I was kind to the person afterwards, almost just overly kind to the person afterwards. I was in a very, very bad space. And I remember it was hard for Mo and our other friend to really believe something had happened, because it's like, we try to get you to go to the police. Why wouldn't you go to the police? And when she told me, she said, I didn't go. I didn't want to even cause any trouble. I just was glad I got out of there. And then her default was to just stay away. Right. And so I don't know. I was in a bad place. It was right after my divorce. And I was just in a mental space of not feeling worthy of much. But it made me wonder, and I wanted to talk to you about it. And I wanted to talk to you about it in this forum, because I think a lot of times so much happens to women that they don't say. And the women that do talk about it are often not credible, and they make it hard for women that do have something happen to them. Outside of that, I would say for my situation, it ain't even that it was bad that they might not have believed me because of my actions. What's really sad is that I didn't feel worthy of even saying anything, right? And when my friend said that, someone I looked at and I was like, I would never want you to feel that way, because it's easier for me to feel like I want to protect somebody else besides myself. I just thought it was worth us discussing, because we do talk about dating disasters and deal breakers. And I think a lot of times women have things happen to them, specifically our generation. I'm talking about women probably 45, 40 and up. Maybe younger generation is more vocal. But I know a lot of women, and she's not the only one. I had another conversation with a woman that's a little bit older than me. And she was, had this situation. She was assaulted by someone that's very famous. I mean, that's a tale as old as time, and never said anything about it. Sees him out. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Knowing what happened. Right. And, I don't know. I don't know if I can even explain that, why women do that. But I know for you as a man, it's really hard to understand. But when I had this conversation with her and she told me that, it made me feel like, oh my gosh, we've got to do something and have more conversations so that this doesn't happen to more women. And maybe we're assuming young girls are more vocal, but maybe they're not. We definitely have not shown them that they should be. I know for myself, in the situation that when it happened, I was thinking that's my fault for letting something like that happen to me. Right. And I don't want to, I didn't have any business being there. I shouldn't have went back to his house, and I should not have, but it didn't mean that I deserved that. And just like my girlfriend, that was a third date. A lot of people would go, everybody online says they would not go to a man's house on the third date. But the reality is a lot of people go to men's house on third date. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, when you're getting to know an adult in adult relationships, a woman in her 40s, you go on a date with a guy 2 times, you have a great time with him, he makes you feel comfortable, he asks you to come by on the third date so he can cook. It's reasonable that a lot of women would do that. And then that is, what happens. So I just wanted to talk this through with you. Honestly, I really probably should have had a conversation with you privately, but I think that's
you just threw me off there.
But I think that's what's good about this platform, though, is that they get a chance to see how you and I really do talk about real stuff. This is a conversation that you and I have had before, and it is a conversation that I think is necessary with both sides, because you're not the only guy friend I've talked to that'll be like, and I understand why it would be hard if you're not a woman.
I never said that to you, though. That's how you took it. I never said that to you.
I feel like you were, because the person, the person, it was a person.
No, I just asked, I think I asked 1, maybe 2 questions, but I never said that to you.
I thought I did feel like you didn't. Right. Well, I didn't mean to throw you off in that way. I took it like you were feeling like, well, why did you?
But I think the people might have looked like I didn't believe you or that's what's throwing me off. I'm like, this making it look like.
Oh, no. I don't. Okay. Well, I thank you for clearing that up. That's not what happened. You actually, first of all, let me say this.
I didn't even speak to the person. I told you to call the police.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mo, first thing you did, you told me, let's call the police. Right then, when I first told you, you said, let's call the police.
And let's be clear, I didn't know for a couple of days neither.
Right.
My other friend knew.
Right.
I didn't know.
Right. You're right. I didn't mean for it to sound like that. So I'm definitely clearing that up. You did tell me to call the police, and you did even take it to the point of telling me, well, because I was in a bad place, and you were like, well, you're just trying to like self-destruct, because why are you allowing this? And then I know later when he did come back to Atlanta, you were like, why are you talking to him? You know what I mean? And I couldn't really explain that. That's the part that I'm trying to get to now. Yes, you did tell me to call the police, right? And you did say this is not. I think our other friend, I don't know, but it wasn't even on him, because that is a very conflicting behavior. It's conflicting behavior.
And just for the, like, I knew the person and I had history, but I grew up with the person. Let me just be real clear. So it just threw me off, but I stopped speaking. And it's something else that threw me off, but I didn't speak to the person. And then they asked me what was wrong. What's up? Why you ain't speaking to me? Because I stopped speaking to them. Mm-hmm. And it just threw me off, because I'm just like, but it's it's crazy. But I feel you though. I feel you.
Well, we'll just say that. What do you say? What threw you off? Because I didn't know that y'all had a conversation. I did not know that.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I explain it, then I don't want to get into that. I really don't. Because then it's gonna look. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to you. I don't really care what I do to him.
Yeah, I'm okay though.
I just don't want to put this out there like that. I don't think that's. Yeah. But it was never a question about believing. I was just confused.
Yeah, and that's my point, is that
because of
it can be confusing.
Chain of events, not what happened, but the chain of events that happened afterwards was confusing. And that's what threw me off.
That's what I'm saying. My interaction with him afterwards.
Right. The thing was, there was something. It was an event that happened, mm-hmm. and then you invited him to the event. Right. And then when I seen him, it blindsided me and it threw me off. Right. And I was like, well, huh? And then that evening, he was like, what's up, man? You ain't talking to me? You see what I'm saying? It was like that. Okay. You know, this is someone I grew up with. This is someone who, when my father passed away in my house, he walked me to the hospital. I didn't even know my father was dead yet. I know they came to got him. And he walked me, and he was there when I got the news. But that was, at that point, it was neither here or there, because he violated my friend. Yeah. And at the point that you told me, I was like, call the police. Like, now, let's blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know, and like, I wasn't prepared for this. But yeah.
You know what? I think when my friend told me that, I just felt like it's something that other women may deal with. And I also feel like you as a guy, because I have other friends that when stuff came out, specifically like with the Diddy stuff, a lot of men will be like, well, you know, women, they'll say one thing and then they'll go back. There was a juror that said that Cassie was not really abused because she went back to the situation, right? And I don't know, I felt like there has to be some explanation to it for men, because as friends, as husbands,
and that's fair, that's fair. I get it, and that's fair.
Yeah, so that was my reason for saying it. There are numerous reasons why, because I thought I was the only person that had gone through that, because I was in a the place I was in mentally at that point, right? Not like I am now at all. Just I don't even recognize, like when I look at stuff that I wrote or stuff that I did, I can't even connect with that person. But I see other women doing similar things. I have a friend that says she's out, she'll talk to this person, and it's kind of like not even that didn't even happen. In this situation, this guy was out, they were at an event, he came over and spoke, they had a cordial conversation. I would assume to the male brain, you're like, why are you talking to somebody that literally
violated you?
Yes, you know what I mean? So but I also think it's part of conditioning as women. Women are conditioned to take that and take different things from it, inappropriate behavior. I've worked for years with people that have been inappropriate, like uncomfortably so. Right. One of them I just stopped working with, maybe like 4 years ago. And this was someone that was consistently inappropriate. Come to my hotel room. Let me do this. And I would ignore it, push past it, keep working with them. very toxic situation. And I just think that I just wanted to bring that up because I think a lot of times women we're not honest about it, and we really maybe can't explain it. But I think for me now to be removed from that and be able to really say, yes, I did that. And that's crazy. And just so you guys know, I'm just in a push to be a lot more candid than I already am. But when I invited the person, I was looking for validation, and I was in a really bad place. And it ended up going bad then. Because I actually tried to remove the situation from my brain. And I don't know if you remember when he came, I don't think you were there initially when he came, but he was trying to size up other people that were there to potentially rob somebody, and then got mad at me because I gave another guy a hug and put me in a violent, just responded to me violently at the event, at a very public event, got very, very violent because I gave another guy a hug. And it was like, don't you ever disrespect me by bringing, I was just like, so it just was bad. It was bad all the way around. It had my bad decisions continued to deliver the same. He showed up as the same person that he showed up that night. Now, he was very cool and charming otherwise, but it was still just me trying to validate something and make something different that was not. Does that make sense?
No, I got you.
And I don't think you were even there when he first got there and that part happened. But I was just I invited somebody that was violent towards me once. They came and they were around all these people that had money. And their first thing was, wait a minute, who is he? Where is he? And I was like, oh no, I'm not trying to, just the energy. And that maybe it's energy, it's upbringing, it's character, it's all of that. Just not a good fit. But I do want you to know, I guess I just wanted to say that women, a lot of times, just because a woman is in something or revisit something, that doesn't mean that she has not been victimized. It may mean that she doesn't see enough of herself to speak up or even to stand up for herself.
That's fair. It's, like I said, it's just at the time, I don't, I'm thrown off. You know what I'm saying? But it was never the point, nah, that's bullshit. That wasn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't
no shit like that.
I wasn't trying to make it seem like that. I was literally saying
just in general.
Yeah,
I want you to think it wasn't that type of time.
Yeah, no, I felt like my actions could have put you in a bad position because it didn't look like, it was contradictory. My actions and what I said contradicted each other. You know what I mean? So that could put you in a bad position. It's just like a domestic violence situation. You tell somebody, this person put their hands on me. The person rushes in to try to protect you. And
now I've been there before.
Yeah, and then the person comes out of it.
I've been there before.
Yeah,
damn near about to trust me, I get it.
Well, okay. Lakeisha says, I do not think this combo is fair to Moe because of his ties to both people. He advocated for you, and this is a public platform. With all due respect, but it's kind of like the only person that really got hurt in the situation is me. So,
yeah.
I don't think he's trying to protect the person. I've never said the person's name out loud. And I don't, so I don't think that it's unfair. I'm telling him because I think my intent was for you guys to see how we really do have these real conversations. And I was going to call and tell him about the conversation I had with the girlfriend because it just really bothered me that I was somebody that she talked to and I was encouraging her to date without knowing why she didn't want to date. Right. And I felt like, man, I understand because I went through that and I don't want more people to go through that. But out of everything, Lakeisha, it's a situation that, trust me, the person that struggles with this is myself. That person is not struggling.
She was the one that actually, trust me, if you would have seen her in this season and see her now, it's not even the same person. So, to all fairness to Christal, it it was it was a lot going on that time period. I'll just say that. You know, and she's, you know, she's come a long way. Like I said, y'all, if y'all would have seen her then and trying to pull herself together and trying to figure it out while, you know, she still has her kids and she, you know, she still got to push forward. But this thing is happening in real time. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine, you know, like I said, it's hard to describe to y'all if y'all seen how she was then to how you see how she is now. That's the only thing I can really say.
But the one thing,
no, I get it though.
Yeah, but our friendship, I'm thankful, and I've always said that even on this channel, our friendship is one of the things that helped me to push through, right? So if I didn't have that and I went through those situations, I don't know if I would have been able to get through, right? So I appreciate that, and I think the trigger was my friend's situation, because a lot of times you look at people and you would never think. I mean, this person, this young woman is very accomplished and very successful, and she was at an event celebrating herself, right? And all the accolades that she has accomplished. And this person that assaulted her came and she was interacting with them at the event. They interacted with her and she was cordial, and it bothered her to the point where she shared something that happened years and years and years and years ago. And I had that experience, and my first thing was Moe, because there weren't a lot of people around that knew about it,
right?
You know, that I could have shared with. And so so the point is, I don't feel like, and I'm going to move on, but I don't feel like I'm being unfair to Moe in terms of the other person, because good. I don't think that the other first of all, the other person, we're not putting his business out in the street. Nobody knows who it is. You know, he doesn't even live in this state. So it's not like he's in Moe is not having to protect him at all. So I'm not.
Oh, no, this ain't.
Yeah, because she's like, well, he has a relationship with both people.
Well, I haven't spoken to him. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know him. You know what I'm saying? But he's off doing this. We're not in contact with one another. So.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like I said, this is not a conversation that would put. I would feel like you were right, and I would put Moe in a bad position if I was telling the person's name or even giving any inkling so where people could potentially figure out who it is. But there's no information that I've shared that would tell anybody who this person is.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't know we were doing that tonight.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only thing I wasn't prepared for that kind of thing. But
and I would never I would never bring up a conversation that was hurtful to you, like something up from your past, because we know a lot of each other's past. I would never throw you in a situation to talk about yours. I wouldn't do that. I'm talking about something that happened to me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I can say that, you know, I don't feel like that's putting Moe in a bad.
Nah, and hopefully anyone else is helping someone, if anything.
Yeah. That's why I think there's a lot of women that do go through. If I can think of right now 5 women, myself included, that have gone through. I know a woman who works with a man every day that attempted to take her to take advantage of her intimately at gunpoint, and she works with him every single day. There's a lot of we're not the only women that have gone through that. You know what I mean? There's not, and thankfully I don't have to see this person ever. But thank you, Tammy. This is a friendship of well over at this point 30 years. You know what I mean? So and he was definitely the first person that I told, because at that point, you know, I did not. There was nobody else to tell.
No. Second person. You didn't want to tell me because of the fact that we told our other. It bothered, and then you finally told me, and that's when it hit the fan.
Yeah. So it was the other person. Our other friend that we were very close to at that time, and hit and I didn't want Moe to get. And I also knew Moe was gonna want me to go to the police, and he was gonna make a big deal out of it. And I didn't feel at that point. I didn't feel that I was worth making it a big deal over, right? So that was it. But that actually is a good point, because when you're dating in this season of your life, you have been through things like that. For me, so I did not get really close to or let walls down with anybody I dated before Gun Boss. And a big part of that was because of things like that, right? So I went through a really bad divorce, and then I had trauma and different things that happened. So by the time I met Gun Boss, there was a lot of, thank you, Darlinda. There was a lot of walls, pain, hurt, unhealed things. Even though I worked really, really diligently to heal, there were still things that, are red flags, or that are sensitive to the touch. So when you're dating people, we know that people have gone through trauma. They just have. And you have to be a little patient. You have to be open. You have to be willing to understand that that's happened. Even though a man might not have gone through something like that, he could have gone through something that was equally as traumatic from a female side. You know what I mean? So it just makes dating afterwards a little bit different.
That it does. I can imagine. I mean, I think for anyone, any experience that you had that was not so good, but then you got to go back into that space for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to go back into that space, or it's normal to be in that space, but it's uncomfortable for you due to the issue or the experience that you had.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I totally get that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the show that we did with Portia and
Hold on,
DJ
I had a dilemma. Hold on.
Oh, okay. My bad. My dilemma was long. I'm so sorry.
Hold on. I had a dilemma.
What is your dating?
It's not my personal dilemma, but it's
okay.
a dilemma of sorts. I think I had it one time, but anyway. But if a man meets a woman and he starts talking to the woman, and comes to find out that he used to date a friend of hers.
Okay.
A friend of a friend. One friend or associate off. Does he still talk to her, or is it off limits?
A friend?
Like, it was a girl group, and it was like, oh, she don't rock with them no more, but she used to be with them. And she, they fell out, but now she's cool, but they don't hang out like they used to. Can you still talk? Is that person male or female? Is that off limits? You've never met them before, but in talking, oh, such and such, and it's like,
Edna says it's off limits. I don't know, Edna.
And for some reason, I don't believe you. I don't know why.
I don't know.
It's a friend removed from a. It's like,
yeah, I don't think at this point in life, when I was younger, maybe, right? I think when you're younger and you're immature, you look for reasons why you can count people out. As I've gotten older, I realized that how I handle people may be different than other people I know. So I don't tend to take other people's word about people. I want to get to know them myself. If somebody were like, oh, I know Scorpio Moe and he's this and he's that, well, that's not my experience. You know what I mean? And I also would hope that people would give me the same grace and the same, fairness. So I don't think I would.
Be like, yeah, in college or when we in our early 20s, we used to kick it, and she was a friend of a friend. We were cool, but here it is, you're in your 50s now, and it's like you bump into her, you meet this woman, and comes to find out she knew some of the people you knew, you guys never met.
Nah, I'm gonna move forward and get to know it on my own. And again, at this age, what was important then is not important. If you say you meet this person and you guys have friends in common, in your 50s, y'all ain't gonna be just hanging out with friends on a daily basis like you might have been in your 20s. You might have been out in your 50s. You're trying to build a life and a future and look towards. I
ain't gonna lie. I was apprehensive, but I come to find out the women didn't give a damn. They did not care. They was like, yeah, well, I will tell you one. I met a woman at there was a gathering of some young people, and they were the parents. And
Okay.
a woman on maybe the third or fourth day wanted me to come over there. Her daughter used to date her son, but they don't date no more. But they're all cool. And I see a woman there who was gorgeous. Every man in there was paying attention to her.
Okay.
Fast forward, I don't know, 5 years later. Now I just see her, and she was like, "Yeah, she's such and such." She used to be married to someone famous, and I'm online, and I meet her, but I don't know it's her. And we're out to eat, and she started telling me where she's from, and something was like, she was like, "Yeah, she was married before, and he was famous, and he was." And I was like, and when she said where she was from, I was like, hold up, it wouldn't happen to be, he used to be in such and such. She was like, yeah. I was like, we met before briefly. We were just introduced and kept going. You know such and such. I used to date her. She was like, oh. She's like, that's not going to be a problem, is it?
Okay. And what did you say?
I don't know. It's a little awkward. I didn't do it, though. She got in her old ass Mercedes and drove off.
You know what?
But she used to be. But she didn't look like she did. What's her name? Especially her hands.
That is not.
She didn't look like she did.
That is not
It is the point. But
that's probably why you didn't do it. You didn't do it because she didn't look the same way. That's why.
I didn't know.
That's what this all comes down to.
She was still gorgeous, but when she went like this and pointed like this on the menu, I saw them old hands. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, no.
So basically, that's why Mo did not.
That's not it. That's not it. But no, because I thought it was awkward, and it would have been to me because I know the woman who I was seeing. I ain't gonna say she admired her, but she was the one bigging the chick up. She was like, yeah, all the men like her. I was like, yeah, that'll be foul if I. She'd be like, she'll think I set this up the whole time, and I did.
But how long was it? How long was it?
Almost 5-year gap.
Mo, I don't even know if she would remember that. I would not care about
no. The girl did. Oh, but the woman I was.
But are you still cool with your ex? You must still care about what she thinks.
Nah, to me, it was just too. It's too many other women out here for me to date that.
Well, that's true, man. You gotta see, men know that there is an unlimited number of women. So they don't ever, they are always willing to play Russian roulette, where women are like, he's a good dude. Okay. He knows somebody I used to date a long time ago. I may not find another good dude. I cannot risk not coming into another good one. There's so few good men. Just kidding. But seriously, kind of seriously. Hey there, I saw that was a horrible event that you mentioned earlier. That is and because I know I'm always telling you to date, but man, that's the type of thing I'm talking about. That scars women. She said a dude followed us from Bourbon Street and pulled out his a weapon at McDonald's. He had said he was going to get his gun and shoot me if I told him. That's what I'm telling you. Like
he pulled out his weapon. Like he pulled out. It threw me off for a second. You gotta be careful out here, man.
I don't think anybody is calling those weapons.
Okay.
No, seriously. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that is traumatizing. That is very traumatizing.
There's some sick people out here, man.
It is. And then sometimes, it's not even the people that you know people that you don't even assume. Like that this person I'm thinking of that told us the situation that with this celebrity person. This person is very unassuming. You would never think that he would do something like that. Just so jovial and not
Look
that.
At Jeffrey Dahmer. He didn't look like he did all that to them people.
He did not. That's
you never know.
You never know. You just always got to be safe. You got to pray. You got to be safe. You got to have friends around you that you can trust. Yeah, and definitely do that. So yeah, that. All right, let's get into the recap from Portia. and DJ Hershey dating in the next chapter. First of all, when I watched it back, I really enjoyed the conversation. When we were filming it, I felt like we were kind of all over the place. But we watched it back. I think that the dating disasters were hilarious. And if you guys have not watched it, we had Portia and Hershey give their dating disasters. And I'm going to ask you for your opinion for Portia, because she told a story about a guy. The story that she told was pretty self-explanatory. But I want to ask you your opinion on what she should do with the first part of it. She said that she was considering telling the story about when she went on a date with a guy, that he was really, really overwhelmed with the fact that when he was with her, nobody paid him any attention. He was like, nobody even sees me. They don't even, they all want to focus on you. And it really, really made him uncomfortable to where, it didn't work out. What advice would you give Portia? Because Portia's a very well-known personality here. There are a lot of women in this area, meaning in Atlanta, that are very successful. Some of them have very public profiles, and it can be very difficult for the wrong man to date them, because I can see how somebody, if they're not comfortable in their skin, would feel very uncomfortable with someone like that. What would be your advice to her in that situation, since you didn't talk about that on the show?
It's because the easiest answer is obviously date a confident guy. Mm-hmm. But it has to be tested, because a lot of guys will say they're comfortable with things, mm-hmm. but when they're told to hold the camera and take a picture, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You'll start to see this, and everybody's not built for it, but you're going to need that. Yeah. You're going to need someone that's going to be very comfortable and very confident in what they do. If they're not where they want to be, and probably really try to stay away from the entertainment guys. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, as long as she's paying you attention, why do you care what everybody else is doing? Yeah. Unless you just feel like you're overshadowed, that thing overshadows you. But even still, this is what you, well, I don't know if that's what you're signing up for, but you got to keep that in mind. Yeah,
anybody that dates her should know.
You know that you got to share her when you go out in public, or whatever. Unless she wears disguise, people are going to recognize her, and we're in the age where everyone has a camera now, mm-hmm. and this is what they want. But at the same time, if you're dating her and you guys are having a private moment, like you're out to dinner, if she respects the dinner and be like, hey, I'm eating right now, but I wouldn't mind taking one afterward and show that man, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if it's just walking through the airport or walking through the mall, this is what comes with it, brother. Yeah. And I would just tell her, I don't know really how you seek that out, but don't do public, try to do more stuff away from people as much as you can.
Yeah, initially, especially in the beginning. Marriott says, why does he want attention, though? I think that some guys that would be attracted to her because they would want the attention, but the idea of it is better than the reality.
There it is.
So they would think, hey, this is cool. I could probably date her, and I'm going to end up, living a celebrity lifestyle. Little do they know, she's going to live a celebrity lifestyle. You, sir, are carrying the purse. I have a friend I know a young lady that was a personality, and she was married. She ended up getting divorced, and the guy that she was involved with, he thought that all the friends and all the celebrity connections that he had because of the marriage to her were going to roll over when they were not together. And he quickly learned that as soon as he was no longer with her, the relationships were no longer,
Girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. But I think if Portia is locked in or whatever, I think she'll take in consideration some things. And you slow roll, man. I think that's just with everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're older. I know I'm moving at a slower pace than I would normally move in any situation, friendships of any kind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if it's going to be there, it's going to be there. And you just take your time. There's no need to rush anything.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're living your life still. Mm-hmm. Work, hobbies, or, you know, your kids, and you find these moments to spend with people. You know, take your time, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing the long game.
Yeah.
Because that's the long game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 But I do think it can be difficult for her, for someone like that, you know, in that type of way, because you're going to attract the wrong people, you know.
That part. You're
going to attract the guys. What characteristics would you say that a woman who has a high profile like that, and I agree, hey, you there, she should use Rhea, but someone like that should look for?
The people that want to be on the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that want to be invited to everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy that's asking you for the invite before you even invite him.
Yeah.
The guy that's constantly talking about what you do or things around what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, celebrity gossip and teeth, you know, all these things that in line with what you do, opposed to who you are, how you grew up, what we do together. The person is constantly bringing up those things, and then when they're bringing up their things, it just so happens to be in line with your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what people don't know is you're part of the escape from that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to be in that with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Part of the reason why they want that is to escape from that. And if you're here, you're piling on to it's like, here we go. And like, I've met women, they was like, yeah, I was thinking about starting a podcast.
Oh my God. We've been through there. And even guys, same thing. Or they have a problem. You know, they want to, they got something to say. They want to be around when you're doing certain things. That's why I was really happy to meet Gun Boss, because he was the first person that he cared nothing about that. I would date guys that wanted to go to premieres or wanted to be around and do that kind of stuff. And it's like, you would have been going to a premiere before you met me. So what is that? So what about DJ Hershey? Because DJ Hershey also in Atlanta has he's well known, and his situation was the girl wanted him to go Facebook public, and she wanted everybody to know that they were together. Do you think it can be difficult for a man that's in that position? She was also very insecure with him being around women in the business.
What was the phrase he used?
I don't remember.
The what?
Oh yes, he did. He said that if a woman was going to have to be around additionally beautiful people, if she was going to have to get used to being around additionally beautiful people, if she was around him. So I would assume, he's a fella that has a lot of attention. He's a host and a DJ and an actor and a stunt. He does stunt work as well. What do you think from your perspective as a guy, you would look at for him as far as like knowing what type of women would be comfortable? Because you've dated some women that, especially when you were in your artist days, women that weren't comfortable with you being around other women in the business.
Stay away people that do that same. I would say the same advice. You want someone as far as removed. I would think some people might get a kick out of that because it's an ego stroke, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, when do you get off work? Like, I would assume there's always two sides of people. Like, you know what I mean? We're friends, so we've seen both sides of us.
We've seen both sides. Yeah.
we were hanging out Saturday, and it was nothing of the show or this thing. You know, we could talk off this and have nothing to do about this. You see what I'm saying?
We didn't even take a picture.
Right. We didn't even do that. So what I'm saying is, you want someone to be your escape from all this. And I would say to him, watch out for those subtle, again, the invites, the conversation, what does she look like? Have you ever dated her? All those kind of conversations, run.
Unfortunately, the same thing I would say with Portia. The women that are attracted to that are going to be attracted to him. And he made a statement. He was like, well, they should be happy because they're on my arm. They're in the number one spot. Well, a lot of them may want to be with you because they want to be in those spaces. And then when they want to be in those spaces, the first thing that you think when you get there, if you're there with somebody else, not there on your own merit, then you're going to compare yourself to those women.
Not only that, I've seen situations where they look for the bigger dog in the room.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Brought her there, and you done introduced her to such and such, and they over there exchanging Instagram and Facebook. She, you know what I'm saying? Those people are looking for the bigger person in the room, believe it or not.
Absolutely. All day, every day. All day. All day. All day, every day. They are there planted. And that was something that we saw. If you guys watched The Polygamist, the young lady that was the first mistress of the husband, she was there with his brother. She used the brother, and she kept asking the brother to take her to the company so she could meet the owner. His brother was the CEO in charge. So she used one brother to get to the other one, and then she got there and she traded up.
You think Lorenz take brother his date be
Don't
there for him? And
Don't
she
do
never
that.
met Lorenz?
Don't
She
do
want to
that.
meet Lorenz.
You know what? I'm not going to say who this is, but you probably will know. I worked with some famous siblings, and there was a spouse of one sibling that actually got with them because they had a crush on the main sibling, the bigger superstar sibling.
Yeah.
I was like, so you had a crush on her sister?
Yeah. You think back in the 80s, they was really trying to meet Ricky Bell? No, they wanted Ralph, but they got Ricky to get the Come on now. We don't know this.
Don't do that. They were in the same group. They're in the same group. Yeah.
Hey, Ralph, at one point, Ralph was Ralph. Ralph
Oh
was
no,
really
Ralph. Yeah, no.
Ralph was Ralph.
I know. But I always liked Ronnie. But I do know that Ralph was the heartthrob. Just like Justin
wanted to meet Tito, they was wanting Mike.
It did not. Not that happens with the Kardashians, really?
Hell yeah.
Are they just getting a Khloe to get to Kim?
Yeah. That's why she had to go try to look like him.
Well, Khloe did go through a lot. She didn't look like none of them.
But you can't get a head reduction. I'm just saying.
She can't get a head reduction.
That was something.
She can. Oh, Linda said she always liked Bobby. Well, yeah, I could. Well, Bobby had his thing because that's why Bobby had to leave, because he was like, you know, Ralph is the king here. I'm a king too, so I gotta go.
But you think the girls that got with Tommy, his brother, you think they really wanted Tommy or they wanted Bobby? See what I'm saying? See how that worked?
That's true. Now, Tammy, I cannot roll with you, and I don't know how many people will roll with you on that.
Hey, Ricky looked the best looking and the best in shape out of all of them. He looked the youngest.
I mean, Ronnie's still in shape. Ronnie always looks in shape, but
yeah, but he look a little older now. And Ronnie is the oldest new addition.
He is. Yeah, he doesn't look like. Yeah.
Now Ricky, man, look at him. He just had a baby.
He did.
Shout out to Ricky Bell.
I'm not gonna shout out to Ricky Bell, but Tammy, bless your heart. I don't know anybody that. I had a friend that had a crush.
I ain't gonna lie. That's the first time I heard that, Tammy.
I've never heard that. I do have a friend that had Ronnie is the best dancer. Always was the best dancer. But I had a friend that had a crush on Michael Bivins. I was just like, what?
Oh yeah. She talked about that.
Yeah.
I know what it was about Ricky Bell. He sung that part. Mama told me one day it was going to happen, but she never told me when. That's the part Tammy fell in love with. I know.
Oh yeah, Mama told. Yeah, but you never told me. He had a couple of little parts because he could also sing better.
Then when he sung Poison, he broke out. See what
he
I'm saying?
did. Well, that's because he was the singer, and BBD, he's the singer. He is the vocalist. Hey You There says there is a clip of young Janet yelling Tito on stage. That yelling at Tito on stage. That some girls want to talk to him. He was excited. But it turned out it was so he could introduce them to Michael. There
you go right there.
That had to suck.
There you go right. They got that every night.
That had to suck. All right, before we get out of here, this is our last question of the night. And I saw this on TV the other day, and I thought Scorpio Moe would definitely be able to give us, Jesus, yes, Tammy, Randy's baby mama did leave him for Jermaine. And I feel like Jermaine has had it out for everybody because he really felt like he should have been Michael. All that I think anything bad that ever happened to the Jackson was at the hand of Jermaine behind closed doors. Anybody that will talk bad about their brother and their sister is not a person to be trusted. Even having his son play Michael years later feels very strange to me. Feels strange.
That's a family divided over there.
It is a family divided. All right, question is, Mo always talks about summertime relationships. Every time he would say people would they want to be single in the summertime so they could mingle, and then they would want to get cuffing season. We know officially is in the fall. But there is a question because a lot of people meet people during the summer. People are out more. The parks are open. The day parties are popping. You meet a fella there. He's nice looking. He's got a nice ride, summer loving.
Yeah. You
meet a lady, she has on a beautiful sundress. The wind hits just right. It hits and she's got the silhouette that you like. However, how can you know if the person is just looking for a summer fling or if they really are open and available for a romance? As crazy as it sounds, a lot of people do end up connecting with people during the summer because, like I said, things are out. And Atlanta is popping all day, every day now. FIFA is here. People are doing activations all day long in the city. It's a lot going on. So person comes out, you guys meet up. How can you tell if a person is looking for a summer fling or if they really are looking to possibly be taken off the market?
I think it's what they're actually doing.
Okay, give us the versus the summer fling actions versus the real cuffing actions.
I think I think the fling situation is more of a we're outside.
Okay.
And everything we do is outside. In between catching up with them and their girlfriend trips, the kids are going for the summer, they're outside.
Okay.
And everything they do is pertaining to being outside. So and we're talking about us as a certain age, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's not intimate one-on-one time, if they're always trying to meet me at such and such a day party, well, we're going to be at here. Such and such having a cookout. They have a companion, so on and so forth. And they want something to do because the kids are gone. They're going to be locked in. But
I think about that. During the summer, kids are gone to the grandparents or to the dad or to.
So they're gonna come out that shell. They get to go move around. They ain't got to, the food stamps is all for them if they got them. whatever the situation is, it's
they don't have those mouths to feed. Linda says, I think you'll know by the conversation.
In a house with a lover. You might, because here's the thing with the summer fling, you might not be the only one. That's why they're always outside. But if the other person's not, meet me here, opposed to let's do this private thing. Let's go to Myrtle Beach together. Let's go to. Yeah, we're doing things away from the crowd, away from the. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Meet me, as opposed to let us.
Yeah. There you go. Because you're going to show up and you're going to have to share her with everybody, her friends, the party, and you're just there and it's all fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the closer them kids get back into town, you're going to see she's going to wing you off and she's going to warn you. They're about to come back. in the next week. You know, especially in the South, you know, the summer's over early.
Summer's over early.
So,
August, it's a wrap.
Yeah, so you're going to get that, and she's going to go back in the cocoon, and, you know, that she's going to want, if she does, she either doesn't have time or she's going to want something serious. You were fun. Yeah. You had your car shining, you were spending money, but she's not settling down for that.
Right.
That's the easy to get tricked. You had your shirt off when you met her.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. But I think some people like a summer romance. Just somebody that is cute, that you like, that y'all can vibe with. You hook up everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
But she gonna want to do serious things. She's not gonna invite you around the family. She's not gonna do serious shit with you.
Do you think it's a good idea? Because you used to always advise against hooking up in the summer because you want to see everything that's out there. The time was for the fall to have.
If a man picks you up in the summer and really likes you and wants to do that a long time, he really likes you.
Okay.
Because everybody's outside, he wants to be where everybody's in. You don't want to settle down in the summer.
That's what.
Why would you do that? If you're not serious.
If he's not serious, yeah, he's gonna wait till the winter,
October.
And the fact that people actually live on these seasons is crazy to me. He'd be like, no, hold on.
You know why? Because they're gonna play the crib more. They're gonna be in the house more, and they're gonna want someone in the house. We're not going out. It gets dark early.
It does get dark early.
And you're older, you know how it is. Especially you get off work, it's dark. Even though it's 6 o'clock, you be like,
I'm going home.
Right.
I want a hearty meal. I'm gonna make up some chili or some stew. You know, just something to eat that's good and warm, that's full. Not
in early October, you can still get a good gift for Christmas.
That's true. What is the cutoff? Now, what about, the summertime has a lot of activities. I will say a quick dating disaster that I want to warn people about because we're coming up on the 4th of July. And I remember I did not think, when I was dating, because I wasn't dating seriously. I was just out here just broken in these streets before. I would run really quickly if anybody tried to tie me down or make me do anything serious. So I remember this guy I was dating, and he seemed to be serious. He invited me to spend the 4th of July with him and his family. I didn't think that could be a problem. Now, I know Christmas, Thanksgiving, I wasn't doing those type of things. I had my own plans because I know that feels like family. I don't want to do that. But I did agree to go out with him on the 4th of July because he did say his family was cooking. It's from a family that was slightly Southern. And so I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. Whenever you go on a date with somebody who is from the South specifically, their family are they want to cook a lot and they also want to look you up and down. So, Northern people are a little different. There's not going to be a lot of fish fries and stuff like that. They're probably going to say something to you, but they're not going to just you're not going to be like the main center of attraction. People will say something about you, in passing or just but they're not going to sit and just make it seem like they want to know all your business. They're just not going to seem as bothered. Southern people will put down their fork and just stare at you like, what do you bring to my cousin or to my brother or whatever? So we went to the family. The cousins were asking me questions and doing the quiz. And and then he wanted to go watch the fireworks. Ladies, do not go watch a fireworks display with anybody that you're not serious with. What I learned is that man turned that into a romantic, soul-connecting activity. He wanted to hold you while we watched the fire display in the sky, and I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to be there, and I thought, I should not have came on this 4th of July date. I did not know that was going to be something that was, it was everybody sitting around together, all the couples, and everyone was just holding on to people watching the explosions in the sky. It was just it wasn't a good time. So just be careful. Be careful with 4th of July dates unless you're with somebody that you really want to be with. Do not, because the fireworks can be a romantic experience.
Sparks flying.
The sparks. That's what it was. It was the spark. I'll never forget. We were on the back of his car, and I was just like, I do not want to be here. and he was just looking at the explosions in the sky and trying to make it like this was us. And I was just like,
that's because you didn't like him like that. That's all that was.
I did not like him like that.
And
but I'm just saying,
someone you really like.
Yeah, I'm just saying you got to make sure it's somebody that you really like. That's true. Don't go to any family events with people that you don't really like.
That part. Men shouldn't be inviting women that he don't. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think he didn't know that I didn't really like him like that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the streets can be brutal. But be careful, ladies. You can get sucked in. Don't be there for folks' families to just look at you and do that. It was bad. Blondie, it was bad. He was a very romantic guy, and I was just like, I know I did watch Waiting to Exhale, but obviously I did not take the message because I did the wrong thing. The wrong thing. Anyway, be careful about your 4th of July dates. Make sure they're the right ones. Because it is I guess it's kind of romantic, the fireworks, you know. Leo, men are what we are. We are terrible. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. All right. Well, I guess we need to get out of here for tonight. We will be back on Friday with a lighter. You
got a story for us Friday?
I have a story today, but it's kind of a dark story.
You want to tell it on Friday?
Should I tell the story today? I can give you guys the beginning. It's just the beginning. So okay. It's the beginning. All right.
Okay.
All right. So here's my couple, Gina and Robert. Hold on. I got my notes here. All right. Yes. Let me show you guys. Let me do my story time. My story time setup. Hold on. It is story time. All right. Here we go. All right, Gina and Robert got married after they've been married for 2 years, but they got married after dating for 3 months. That is really important. They got married after dating for 3 months. Robert works for a big beverage company here, right? He's in sales, and Gina at this point is a stay-home wife. She's in school. And she wants to have a baby. They're in their early 30s, right? So they are excited. They got a cute little condo. Everything is going good. Gina realizes that Robert has been kind of short. He gets kind of short, a little frustrated. You know, she asks him, does he want to do something? He snaps at her. And so she kind of is like feeling a little bit strange, but keeps going. He starts being a little bit more short, a little bit more frustrated. He stops being as intimate and as affectionate with her as he, usually is. And so she keeps asking him, is something wrong? He says everything is fine. He's just, it's a lot going on at work. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. She takes his word for it and keeps going. One day she is out getting Starbucks because she's in school. So she's getting Starbucks and studying. And she sees him driving by in the middle of the day. She leaves and she follows him, comes out. He goes to another coffee shop and he's sitting there. So she's a little concerned. She doesn't say anything to him. She goes back to the house. He comes back later on in the evening, like after he was supposed to get off work. And she asks him, is everything okay? He says yes. She says, hey, I saw you earlier today when I was out. I didn't want to say anything, but I don't understand what you're keeping from me. What's going on? He breaks down and acknowledges that he lost his job. Okay. He lost his job and he has been lying about it for the last 2 weeks because he was afraid to tell her. She says, you know what? I can get another job. I can get a job to help out. We can figure this out as a couple, right? He is relieved because Gina actually is the woman he thought. He doesn't have to be worried about her. She's not going to leave. So he starts to try to find a job. She is looking for a job. They start to go on to have some hard times, right? Finances get a little iffy. Things get really stressed. They end up in just about to get kicked out of their condo, right? Things get bad. He's been out of work for almost 6 months. She gets a job and she's able to get a loan from her parents to let them keep their condo. But they are way behind in bills. Way behind in bills. He hasn't had a job in 6 months. She just gets a job, but she's not making as much as he was making, but she's making enough to kind of start to get them out, pay the rent, get them out of this financial, bad place. All right. So they come over that hurdle. Things are cool. Now, keep in mind that when he was dealing with the job situation, he was kind of snapping at her, but she feels like, hey, this was probably because he didn't have a job and he didn't want to tell me. So they work on it together. He's happy. He's thankful that, he has a wife that's understanding. So they get to it. He actually ends up finding another job. He finds another job. Everything seems to be going well. She ends up eventually, after another year goes by, she leaves that job. She goes back to finish her degree. Everything is going fine. All of a sudden, same thing starts happening. He starts being short, being very frustrated with her. Just his energy towards her, sex drops off. Same thing again. So she's like, what is going on? Did you lose? She eventually asked him, is everything okay at the job? What's going on? He snaps at her. Why would you ask me something like that? No, I'm doing fine. You're just doing too much in the situation. She's like, okay, fine. She cries to, give it some time. Things do not get better. Things actually start to get worse. She actually reaches out to a guy that she knows that works at the new job that he's at. Here we go. The guy confirms that everything is fine on the job. However, Robert is still very, very short with her, and their relationship, their intimacy is breaking down, and his desire to seem to want to do stuff with her has waned. He doesn't really. She suggests they go out and do something. He doesn't want to do it. They used to go work out together. He doesn't want to do it. So she's confused. She's decided to put on hold having a baby. She's looking like maybe I need to find a job just in case, because things could go left. He insists that nothing is wrong, but the energy between the two of them gets to a place where it's so uncomfortable. They're not intimate at all. Things have totally shut down. Gina goes and talks to a counselor on her own, and the counselor tells her that if she's unhappy, she should figure out what to do to make her own happiness, to find her own happiness. So she tells Robert that she thinks that she wants a divorce. She thinks that they should, look into getting a divorce because it doesn't seem like there's anything that she can do to make him happy. She stood by him when he lost his job. They overcame that, but now they're right back and the situation has gotten even worse. I'm going to leave it right there. You guys let me know, what do you think Robert said? What do you think is wrong with Robert? And do you think that Gina should get a divorce?
Well, we don't run around this loop twice.
And it's crazy because when I first heard the story, I really did think that, men would, in my experience, not all men, but a lot of men, if they're not earning, they feel very uncomfortable, right? So you lose your job, they can be very disconnected because they don't feel like they're able to provide. So I was really shocked that when she told him, she saw him, he admitted that he lost his job and they worked together, I really thought things would get better.
I think part of this has the reason why he lost his job. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
And he's still living with whatever that is.
That's a good point. Whatever caused him to lose the job, because everything, he worked for a company, everybody liked him. He's a nice looking, charismatic guy. And all of a sudden, it was very sudden that he lost the job and did not tell her, did not confide in her. He did appreciate her to an extent.
Because I know, some guys that lost a job and they didn't say anything. And it wasn't because they lost their job, they didn't say anything. It's because of how they lost their job. They didn't say anything. You see what I'm saying? Yeah,
that could be. That definitely could be.
But that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely could be. I think the most important things are they were only together 3 months before they got married. So she doesn't really know a lot, but they've been together 2 years, still very new. And sometimes people think that 2 years is a long time, but it's really not a long time when it comes to who that person is and getting to know them at their core. So I will just say that, and we'll wrap it up on Friday. But I was not. I would say what for me, his response to her wanting a divorce, I did not expect.
Hmm. What city is this in?
Actually, this is in Atlanta.
Enough said.
Jonah said Robert is a broke cheater. He tries to kill her or he's gay. Did that because I said Atlanta? Is that where you pulled that from? The fact that it's Atlanta that led us.
That's part. Hey, that's fair.
Atlanta has a bad reputation.
It definitely does, because they think everybody here is.
Yeah. Edna said he agrees to the divorce. He is on the down low. I agree with Linda. You can hide your true personality for 2 years. Most people can't go that long, but some can.
Hey, man. I mean, it's some people out here faking the funk.
Yeah.
On all kind of stuff. So, yeah, you never know.
Yep. And they're in their early 30s. So,
Okay.
All right. So, you guys tune in on Friday. He said, where do I sign? I ain't gonna lie. It was a very unexpected response to the divorce. That is what I will say. To her asking for a divorce.
Okay. We shall see Friday, y'all.
We shall see Friday, 10 o'clock. Stay tuned. Stay locked in. I am headed to DC because TLC has a Broadway show, musical that is premiering in DC. So I will be there on Friday, but I will be here. Will I be here? Wait a minute. No, you know what? We will have to do this next week because I will be actually at the show on Friday. I did not think about that. The actual show. I just got the itinerary. Hold on, y'all.
So y'all put y'all stuff in between now and next Wednesday. No, yeah, Wednesday.
Hold on. Let me, and we may be able to do it Friday. Let me see the time. No, the show is at 8 p.m. So no, I will not. So yeah, we won't be able to do Friday. At least I'm letting y'all know today. But remember the story. I'll go back through it. We'll go back through it. And then
But in the meantime, you tell us, y'all tell us, and I want you to catch up on what's the polygamy? What how you say it?
Polygamist.
I can never say that word. Check out that show.
Yes.
On that. Then also check out what else was shot.
So we did the next chapter, Dating Diaries, Tuesday, of course, is run that back.
For those who haven't seen that, see that. Please see that. And then obviously we got your show, the daytime 12 noon show.
Oh yeah, the reprint. We're doing a reprint on that. I will be for. Who are you guys talking about with what musical artists are you guys?
No, we're about to drop the Thriller episode sometime, but we're taking a break. We're getting ready for season 2. Got a bunch of surprises. Got a few interviews lined up. We're just getting stuff together. We're taking a break. I think next Tuesday we're dropping Michael Jackson's Thriller, and then we're done for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll be coming back with Running Back season 2. So we're on hiatus for now.
Okay. Well, I know.
But we're coming back bigger, better, a new set, new everything. We got 3 different camera angles. We got a lot of stuff going on, and we got some interviews with some cool people, some of the people you know, and it's gonna be dope. So that's it.
Okay, well, we're coming back. The summer's gonna be big. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting summer. But tune in. So we'll be back next Wednesday. The reprint will be on Friday, and I'll definitely share some footage of the TLC musical, Crazy Sexy Cool. If you stay tuned to the YouTube channel, I'll definitely have some sneak peeks from the musical that I'm going to go to on Friday. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I know tonight was a little bit deep, but that really what this channel used to be. We used to have really deep conversations, and we do that usually at someone else's expense, you know. But I appreciate everybody listening and the support that came in. And actually all the comments. I appreciate all the comments. We appreciate them all. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you let us know what do you think is going to happen to Gina and Robert. And we'll pick back up on Wednesday right where we left off. All right?
There it is.
You guys have a good one.
Out, y'all.
Do you have a dating deal breaker, disaster, or dilemma? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Dating Diaries.